Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This here is the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube, and here we love black lips. We do apply chapstick usually, but we got stuff going on. This video, excuse me, that was so rude, Troll. You are just so rude. Here at the Crazy Troll Nation, the crazy because we do stuff like that. Like I talk to myself like in third person, like I'm really over there talking to myself. And I'm not. So yeah, so the crazy is just enjoying your channel, enjoying the channels you watch. And if you're silly and goofy like me sometimes, it is okay to keep it in a video because it's part of my personality. And the troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique like they say we need to do. Wear whatever you want to wear, however you want to, with whatever tools you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. Because the bottom line here at the Crazy Troll Nation is self-acceptance, self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them when you want to, if you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Just love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. I do curse in my videos sometimes because I do curse in real life sometimes. If you're new here, welcome. Buckle up. This is going to be a long video and it's going to be quite a journey. And I do think it is going to be very interesting. And so let's just jump into it. Hey YouTube, today is March 15th, but it is super early in the morning, like maybe like almost 1 a.m. Excuse me. This is Cake Batter Chapstick. This is the first in our 7 Look 7 palettes, trying to deepen up and grunge out Pat McGrath. And this one is going to be easy because this one is Mothership #1. We're going to go in numerical order. And this is Subliminal. And this is a dark palette anyway. Full face on. I know my under eyes looking funky. I'm anticipating having issues with the eyeshadow going on because I am at the end of my Fenty primer. And I use this a lipstick applicator to get some from the bottom. And I noticed before that when it got really low like this, when I am like scraping the edges, the primer is very dry, where usually it's creamy. And you can see from this side how it's looking. It's just looking dry. This side, it didn't blend in, but so I'm anticipating problems. And it won't be because of the shadow. It'll be because of the primer. And again, I have experienced it before when I insist on using it when it's about to die. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take depth. Why am I pointing up here? This is depth. And we're going to put that all over the lid, and we're going to use an Hourglass #3 brush. And so we are going to put this all over and use this as a shadow base. This is where we are with that. And now we're going to take Lilac Dusk, and we're going to put this on the first half of the lid. And this is with a Fenty number 230 blending brush. So that's going to go here. Also, I'm curious to see, like, does it amp up this shadow? This one is a metallic. Ooh, and it is showing up. Wow. So this is without, and this is with. Ooh, I like this. We're now going to take Substance, this shade here, and we're going to use an Esom T37 brush, and we're going to put that on the outer corner. And we're going to blow it out some. So we're going to bring it out because, #1, we need to cover up the primer issue. We're going to go ahead and take NYX Retractable Eyeliner, and this shade is in black. And we're going to put this on our lower lash line. We're going to take a small shader brush, and we're just going to blend this out. We are pulling this upward. We're going to go into VR Violet, this shade here, and this is a dual chrome type shade. So you see how it looks orange up here but then pink down here. We're going to use an Esom V27 brush. If this doesn't work well, which it did pick up well, then we'll switch to a sponge tip applicator. That's this shade right here. I'm telling you, these shades, maybe it's what I put it over top of. I don't know, and I don't remember what it looked like before when I used it. We're going to go back to the brush that we use for Lilac Dusk. Excuse me, and we're just going to just overlap just a little bit. We're going to go into Ultimate Taupe, this shade here, and we're going to use a Scott Barnes number 62 brush, and that is going to go in our transition area, or I should say between our transition and brow bone. That's where this is going to go. And we're just going to also buff out over here. We're going to go back to the brush with Lilac Dusk, and we're going to just bring that up a little more right here. Just for a pop of color, we're going to take this shade here, which is Blitz Blue, and we're going to put that on the lower lash line. And I'm hoping it's not too bright since we're supposed to be deepening stuff up here and making dark looks with all of these palettes. But this is where this is going, and we are going to put it here as well. And we're going to bring it up here too. We're going to take a clean brush and go into Astral White, this shade here, and this is going to go right here. Those brushes were Fenty number 220. This is the third one that I have, and it's a clean one. And we're going to go into Skin Show Nude, this top shade, and we're going to use this for our brow bone highlight. We're going to take the brush that we used for our upper transition shade, which was Ultimate Taupe, this shade here, and we're going to just dip the tip of the brush in it, and we're going to just do this under here on both sides. We have used 8 of these 10 shades. The only ones we did not use was Pale Gold 002 and Extreme Black. And we could use Extreme Black for our upper lash line, but I'm wondering if I want to do a funky in a good way liner, but I think not. And so I think I'm just going to use a black liner for our upper lash line. I was looking that way because that's where my liners are, but we'll just use a black liner for upper lash line. Before we do that, we're going to take Queen. This came in a subscription box, and it says Dragon Liner, and I've used this on my waterline before and it did not cause an issue, so we're going to do that again today. We're going to take Lancome Sills Booster. It is a mascara primer, and we're going to put this on our upper and lower lashes. I almost forgot about eyeliner, so we're going to take the Fenty Fly Liner. The shade is Cause I'm Black. We're going to run this along our upper lash line on both sides. We're going to do a small wing at the top of that blue line. We're going to use our MAC Stacks mascara on top and bottom lashes. Wiping off some chapstick. Did you have any doubt that we were going to do a black lip? This is MAC's Caviar. It's one of their retro matte liquid lip colors. I am tempted to tap something shiny over top of this, but I am digging it. We're going to leave this just like this. This is our first look. Grunging Out, Smoking Out, Pat McGrath, Motherships, and again, this one was easy. It's Subliminal, and it is a smoky palette all on its own. But we did do something different this time. We used 8 of the 10 shades, and I am really digging this look. You will see me in a few moments for the next one. Hey YouTube, today is still March 15th, different time of day, and this is Pumpkin Pie Chapstick. We're going to use Mothership number 2, which is Sublime, and that's kind of a dark palette too. So we're off to a good start doing deep looks with the Motherships, but it's going to get tricky in a little bit. Full face done, primed my eyes, and we're going to jump into the palette. We're going to go into Dark Rose, and this is going to go all over the lid with an Hourglass number 3. We're going to take Copper Toned with a Fenty number 230 brush, and that's going to go on the first half of our lid, and we are going to blend that on the line of the first shade we used as a shadow base. We're going to turn that brush over and go into Rose Dusk, and we're going to put this on the outer half of the lid. And we're going to blend that on the top edge of where the base shade was laid. I'm liking how when I turn, it's a hint of lavender or purple. And again, that is this shade layered over top of this one. But I'm liking how that's turning a little murky here, because that is the purpose of what we're doing, is to try to get that murky, smoky swamp water type look. We're going to take an Esom V37 and we're going to go into extreme black, and we're going to put that on the outer corner because I just want this to be a little bit darker. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then I'm going to switch brushes to one that's more dense. We're going to take this brush, which is an Esom 27, taking that same shade, extreme black. You see that difference? Ooh. So this is with extreme black and this is without. So we're going to put some on this side. We're going to take the brush that had Rose Dusk on it, and we're just going to just lightly blend in between that shade and where we put extreme black. We're going to take NYX Retractable Eyeliner, and this one is in Golden Olive, and we're going to run this across our lower lash line. And we're going to run that up here as well. We brought the green further up on this side, and we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to take a shader brush, and we are just going to blend that out. We're going to take Queen, and we're going to run that on our lower waterline. We're going to take Blitz Emerald, this shade here, which is green, and then it's purple, and we're using a Fenty number 220, and we're going to run that along our lower lash line. And we're also going to run this where we put that green gel liner. We're going to take VR Nectar, this shade here, and we're going to use a clean Fenty 220 brush, and we're going to put that right here. We're going to take a clean 220, I do have 3 of them, and we're going to take Skin Show Glow, this shade here, and we're going to run that along our, right here, our brow bone area. Because that's a tad brighter than I thought, we're now going to take Iconic, this shade here, and this is a metallic, and we're just going to run that in between where there was that blank space. We're going to tap the brush into that shade, tap off, and we're just going to go in a small circular motion and feather inward right here on both sides. I believe we've used 8 shades in this palette. We've used 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? All right, we're going to take a black and do our upper lash line. This is a Fenty Fly Liner, and the shade is 'Cause I'm Black. We're going to run a line above that green. Lancome Sills Booster Mascara Primer and Max Stack Mascara. We're going to do this on both sides, on top and bottom lashes. Wiping off some chapstick. Of course, right? This is the finished look, and I am digging it. I do think this is more swamp water than the first look in this clip, because this did get a little murky, and that combination, the base shade and then the shade we layered it, how it turned that little purple funky color, and then adding a little bit of the black, like I'm really digging it. And putting that satin as a transition shade. Do not be afraid to use satins or metallics as transition shades. Well, for me, it's my upper transition area, but don't be afraid to do that. So this again is what Mothership #2 Sublime looks like. Easy to go smoke because of the black, and this is kind of deep too. This one shows up, you know, kind of like a swamp waterish type color, but this is what we got. I'm loving the pop of color on the lower lash line. Of course, I'm loving the bomb lip, and I'm loving, you know, the double liner thing, and even my base face. Like, I'm just digging like the blush situation. I'm not going to talk long because we have 5 more looks to do. You will see me in a few seconds. Hey y'all, sugar cookie chapstick. Full face is done. I did a different base face than I did in the previous 2 clips. But I am digging it. I am digging it. Went a little ham with the contour bronzer thing, but I think that's what the kids are doing these days. I don't know. Anyway, so today we're going to be using Mothership #3 Subversive, and this is kind of a smoky palette too. And I look back on the looks I did and I really like them. And so we're going to continue to layer and just see if we can get something different. Just as a reminder, this shade here, which is Blitz Amethyst, it is a dual chrome. So you see the purple and then you see the blue or turquoise or whatever. I am horrible at describing colors. And so we're going to get started. We're going to take Deep Shade, which is this shade right here, and we're going to put that all over the lid on both eyes, and I'm going to edit this out. Since we already have our blend going with this shadow, you could easily take any one of these 3 shades and just put it just on your lid and maybe even into the transition area, your crease area, and leave this part like it is and just have that shimmer across your lid. That could easily be your look. And again, it doesn't have to be this palette. It can be any palette with a dark reddish brown. Put it up into the transition area if you have a similar eye shape as mine, and then just take a shimmer shade and just put it here. And your look is done because you already have your transition done and it's already blended. So that could be a very easy look to do. We're going to take this shade here, Blitz Amethyst, and we're going to put that on the first half of the lid. I'm going to try it with a brush first, and it is picking up. If it doesn't show up or whatever, then we'll use a sponge tip. But this one, I really like this big formula for her celestial shades that she has in her first 3 palettes because I don't have to use a sponge tip. Oh my gosh. Ooh. All right, I'm going to finish this and come back. And you see what I'm saying about placing this here, but you still have your blend from that initial shade. You see that? We're going to turn this brush over and go into Night Creature, this shade here. And that's going to go on the outer part of the lid. I don't know what this is going to look like. I'm counting on how this turns purplish. I'm counting on that blending in or going well with this shade. We're going to go back to the first side of the brush that we used for Blitz Amethyst, and we're going to just overlap and bring that a little further over. I don't know if this is swamp water. I don't think it is. And the reason I haven't been doing the funky liners, the mustard color and the other color liners, is because I don't think most people use those. And so even though I wanted to smoke out and grunge out the Pat McGrath palettes, I still wanted to keep it realistic to what I think most people have, which is a black liner. So that's why I haven't been doing the funky color liners, even though I want to. Oh, look how them shades go. Oh, I'm feeling it. I am feeling it. I'm sorry, that brush was a Fenty 230. I've been recycling the brushes I've been using. I do wash brushes after every use. What was the first brush? That was the first brush. No, it wasn't. The first brush we used was the Hourglass #3. Now we're going to take an Esom T37 and we're going to go into black metal. And that might be a little too much because this one and black metal, they are sparkly shades. So this is the base shade, first 2/3 of the lid, the last third of the lid, and now we're using this one. So I admit to being a little concerned because we're putting a lot of sparkle on top of a lot of sparkle. We're going to go back to the side of the brush that had Night Creature, and we're just going to just overlap. We are going to take Lazarus, this shade here, and it is either a satin or a metallic. Not only am I not good at describing colors, I'm not good at describing finishes. This is a Scott Barnes #62 brush. And again, we're using a non-matte shade, 4-hour transition shade. Don't be afraid to do it. Plan your makeup and just see what you like. We're going to take a Fenty number 220 and we're going to go into Skin Show Fever, this shade here, and that's going to go under our brow bone, just a thin line. We're going to go back to the brush we used for our transition shade and we're going to just buff over top of that. We're going to tap into it, just the tip of the brush, and tap off, and we're going to brush over that brow bone shade because it's a little brighter than I want it to be. We're going to take a clean one and we're going to go into VR Pink, this shade here. We're going to take NYX Retractable Eyeliner, and this one is in gold, and we're going to put this across our lower lash line. We're going to take a clean one and go into Gigabyte, this shadow here, and that's going to go on our lower lash line. This is not a swamp water look. I think Gigabyte over top of the shadow we used for a base, I think that would have been swamp water. But what we did is not. Smoky, yes. Gorgeous, absolutely. But not the swamp water that I've been wanting to go for. We're going to take the brush we used for our upper transition area that had Lazarus on it. We're not adding any shadow on the brush. We're just using that to just buff this down a little bit. So we have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades. Seems like we've been using 8 shades a lot lately. The only ones we did not use from this palette was Extreme Black and Astral Ghost Orchid. We're going to take that same black eyeliner and put that on our lower waterline. We're going to use the Fenty Flying Liner. The shade is Cause I'm Black on our upper lash line, top and bottom lashes, the Lancome Sills Booster, which is a mascara primer, and then we're going to use the Fenty mascara in Miss Merlot, which is a burgundy. So we're going to do all of that and then come back. Gonna wipe off some chapstick. Did you have any doubt? Same thing, MAC's Retro Matte Liquid Lip Color in Caviar. This is our finished look with Mothership number 3, Subversive. Not really the swamp water I wanted, but it is murky in a way because of how these shades blend in with each other. And I am just really feeling this look. I am just digging it. Of course, I am feeling the lip. I kind of want to tap Gigabyte on top of the lip. And for some reason, I think I've done that before. But we're going to leave it this way. We're going to leave it dark because we're creating dark looks with the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. And so just hang tight. Didn't I tell y'all my clothes are always crooked? Maybe it's the way the shirts hang on a hanger, because you can see the hanger puff right here and right here. So maybe that's what it is. Okay, let me go because we got a lot more to do. So you will see me soon. Yeah. Cake batter chapstick. Today is March 17th. I don't know why I'm laughing. I don't even know what I was thinking. I just started giggling for a reason unknown to me. Yeah, this is the Crazy Troll Nation for a reason. So we're using Decadence today. And I'm really starting to question my choice on wanting to grunge out, smoke out, swamp water out the Pat McGrath palettes, because the first 3 were easy. This is Decadence. It is all jewel tone. So I'm like, but I'm going for swamp water. And so what I have planned, I think it's going to look murky. And if so, that's the look we're going for. My eyes are primed. I did the base face I did yesterday. Yeah, this contour thing, I went ham again by accident. So I need to figure that out. Anyway, let's get into this look. We're going to take Enigma, this shade here, on the first half of the lid, and we're going to flip the brush over and use Blue Blood and put this on the second half of the lid. So those are going to be our base shades. Oh, and this goes on so smooth. I'm using my regular primer, the Fenty primer. I'm going to flip it over just so you can see this one side getting done. And this is what our base is looking like. This could be an easy look. Put on some liner, mascara, you are done. We're going to take a quick break from the purpose of this video because I want to say using this, even just these two shades and how easily they went on, how smooth they went on, I do recommend this palette, and I would recommend this over Bronze Seduction because Bronze Seduction is a basic palette. You have your tans, you have your neutrals, you have your browns. This one is all jewel tones, and most of us do have tans, browns, beige, matte shades. And knowing that we have that in our collection, that's why I would recommend this one, because whatever jewel tone you want, you have it in here, and you can use this in companion to one of your other matte palettes, or like I'm going to do today, and like I've done in the previous looks with this palette, I have just used this palette for looks all on its own, not going into mattes from other palettes. But I do highly recommend this one because we already have all the basic mattes, and these are gorgeous. They all go on smooth. There's no chunky monkeys. There's literally no fallout whatsoever, and it's beautiful, and it smells like vanilla. Back to our scheduled program. We're going to take Lapis Luxury on the first half of the lid, and we're going to take Underworld on the second half of the lid. So we're really trying to get some murkiness out of here. That first brush was an Hourglass number 3. This brush is a Fenty 230. So this is going to go on the first half. I did think to use an eyeshadow base, one of the paint pots, and we're going to flip it over. And then I said no, because we're just using the palettes to see what we can do with the palettes. And because we are layering shades over shades, that intensified Blue Blood. This was the base on the second half of the lid, and this is what we put on top. So that just intensifies that. At the same time, putting Lapis Luxury over this one, it just made it more turquoise-y looking to my eye. I'm not good at describing colors. I'm going to shut up and do the other eye. But this one is done as far as the lid work. But look how they blend together. Oh my gosh. We're going to take Divine Mink into our transition area, and we're using a Scott Barnes number 62 brush to do this right here. I think we got the swamp water I was going for. Oh my gosh, I am loving it. Okay, let me shut up. I am so excited. We're going to take Sinful, this shade here, as our brow bone highlight, and this is a Fenty 220 brush. And so, ooh, that's bright. We're gonna, okay, put that there. We're going to take the brush we use for our transition shade, not adding any color to it, and we're just going to brush this over. I keep forgetting how bright some of these shades are. We're going to take Sterling in our tear duct area, clean one, same brush we just used, except it's clean. And that's going to go right here on both sides. Next retractable eyeliner, and this shade is Deep Blue. This is going to go on our lower lash line, and then we're going to take the black we've been using in the previous clips on our lower waterline. We're going to take a small shader brush, and we are going to blend out the blue under here. We're going to flick it upward to meet the edge of our outer corner shade. We're going to put Blue Blood on our lower lash line, and then we're going to top that with Underworld on the lower lash line, and we're just using 2 pencil brushes. We're going to use a different one for each shade. And so we're going to do that. This is Blue Blood. With the clean brush, this is Underworld, that deep blue. And we're going to do this over here. We're going to use the brush that we use for our transition shade, not adding any shadow to it. And we're just going to just buff this underneath just to blow it down a little bit with whatever shadow is left in the brush. I'm going to tap the brush straight into that shade, which is Divine Mink, just to put some right here, just to tone this down just a little bit. And this was the shade that we did use for our transition area. We've used 7 shades for this look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's what we've used from this palette. This is very swamp water. I'm loving it. We're going to put on the Fenty Fly Liner, and because I'm black, on our upper lash line. We're going to use Lancome Cils Booster Mascara Primer, and then we are going to put on, I think today we'll use the Stacks Mascara from MAC. So we're going to do all of that and then come back. I'm going to wipe off some chapstick. You know, you already know. We got the Swamp Water, y'all, and with Decadence. Who knew? I am loving this look, Nair Matte in this palette, but look at this. I am feeling it. I am digging it. I'm not going to babble. We have a few more palettes to go. I kind of would like a little black in the outer corner, but this is still my vibe, because it does still have certain angles. It does still look dark over there, depending on how the light hits it. But look at these shades. You will see me soon. Candy Cane chapstick today. I have a question before we jump into this look. This is the same base face I did in the last two clips, and I'm trying to get the hang of the cheek situation. And my issue was using this LYS bronzer, which to me is cool toned. And so the last couple days, or the last two clips, yeah, it was the last couple days, I've been using it as a contour because it leans cool tone on me. And even looking at it, like, this to me is not a bronzer shade. But I would like for you to let me know, does it look right? I have this here, 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 and across my forehead. And I'm not sure about it because I don't contour, and so I don't know if I like it. And I don't know if I like it because I don't know if it's just new to me and that's why it looks strange to me, or like, does the contour actually look good? So that's a question for you all who are watching. And I haven't been contouring because usually contours make my skin look muddy. And yeah, so that's what this is. So let me know about that if you would, please. I appreciate it. And this is the LYS bronzer No Limits matte bronzer. The shade is Courage, and in parentheses it says tan. But for me as a bronzer, it was way muddy. But as a contour, I'm trying to figure it out. So thank you for that. Full face is done. I did actually remember to spray my face today. Lower lash line, we have NYX Retractable Eyeliner in gold. Yes, and we blended that out with this brush. And we're going to jump into this look. And today we're using, oh, don't drop my paper with the name on it, Bronze Seduction. One of her best sellers. We're going to do a lot of layering because we're going for murky. I don't know if I'm going to get Swamp Water out of this, but we're going to try. We're going to try and get Swamp Water. We're going to try and get murky. We're going to do a lot of layering. Well, let me stop talking so we can get into it, because this is going to be a doozy, and I'll try and make it quick. So let me just shut up and get to it, okay? Yeah, I'm saying that to myself, not to y'all. We're going to take this shade here, Entrapment, all over the lid and up into the transition area, as we normally do with my lid shades, with the Hourglass number 3 brush. And I'm going to put this on, take this up, and then we will come back when the other eye is done. As you see, I did take this higher up than usual because this will also serve as our transition shade. We're now going to go into Disobedient. This is also going to go on the lid and a little into the crease, but not all the way up here. So we're trying to just deepen this up as much as we possibly can with what's available in this palette. The mattes in this palette are very powdery. I'm tapping off a lot and my palette is looking messy. They go on very smooth, but I just want you to know, if you have this palette or if you're considering it, the mattes are very, very powdery. So this is all we're going to do with this shade. So it is a little deeper. This is just Entrapment by itself. This is Entrapment with Disobedient on top. And you see we still have our blend up here from Entrapment. Now we're going to go into Guilty Pleasure, and we're going to top our lid with this. And I am really hoping that this is going to give me the murkiness I want. This is one of her shimmery shades or satin shades, and I'm having to wiggle it and swipe at the same time to get it to pick up on the brush. And we are going to tap off, and not much is tapping off. So we're going to put this on the lid. It's not going on the lid. So we're going to try an Hourglass number 3 brush, a clean one. Yeah, this is not picking up too well. So I may have to use a sponge tip applicator. And it's actually starting to look like it's getting hard pan. That is not good. All right, we're taking a sponge tip applicator. And this is not a Chunky Monkey shade. This is getting hard pan. I'm looking in here and I have had it. My note says it expires this month, March 2023, which means I've had it for a year. The period after opening her palettes are said to be good for, according to the open container on the package, is 12 months. And so I've had this palette for a year, and this shade is hard pan. I don't know if this is giving me murky or not. I'm going to shut up and finish this because I'm kind of struggling to pick it up even with the sponge tip. And it looks like it is though, but trying to get it on my lid is giving me issues, and I normally don't have issues with sponge tips. So I do believe it's the shadow, and it could be because it actually is hard pan already. So that is disappointing. As you can see though, it is still usable. So hard pan doesn't mean you still can't use it. You just have to put more work into it to pick it up. So we did take it into the crease, which is right here, and into the transition area, which is here, but we're leaving space because we already have our blend from that initial lid shade. I'm going to finish the other eye. We're going to go into Extreme Aubergine, and we're going to take a Scott Barnes number 63 brush, and we're going to put that on our outer corner. So we're going to put that here and over here. We're going to lightly just feather using the rounded part of the brush just to lightly bring that shade over a little bit. This is a matte also, but it was not super powdery. This one was powdery. This one was hella powdery. This one is still a little dry compared to the other two. We're going to take Skin Show Divine Glow with this Fenty brush. And we're going to just put that up here. We're going to take an Esom V27, and we're not adding shadow on the brush. We're just trying to buff that down. I don't want to add shadow, but that's just hella bright for me because we are going for dark and murky. We're going back to the brush we used for our lid shades, not adding shadow on it, and we're just pressing right here because I'm noticing this side. I'm loving how this side looks, but this side looks different. We're going to take Bronze Blaze, this shade here, a clean one of these, and this is going to go in our tear duct area. So just right here. We're going to take Blitz Flame, this shade here, with a dense smudge brush. This is a Makeup Forever number 220. And we're going to put that on our lower lash line. And we're going to run this along the edge of our lid shade. This is still the brush that had, what is that, Blitz Flame on it. So we've used 7 shades for this look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We did not use these other Astro Blitz shades because that would have taken away from the murkiness, and I do think we got some murkiness going on. I do think the lower lash line could be a little deeper. So what I'm going to do now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to just take an Esom V31, and we're going to go into, this might be too dark. This is Extreme Aubergine, so we're just tapping straight in, and we're just going to see what this does. Now I'm going lightly. I think this is giving me more what I want. My eyes are tearing because I got shadow in my eye, and I can feel it fleshing itself out. I like this better. Let me know what you think. We're going to take Fenty Fly Liner. The shade is Cause I'm Black for our upper lash line. Sills Booster Mascara Primer, up and bottom lashes. Il Makiage Mascara that came in the subscription box for upper and lower lashes. And we are going to take NYX Retractable Eyeliner in brown and put this on our lower waterline. So we're going to do all of that and then we'll be back. Wiping off some chapstick. Surprise! Those are colors Nima Tang collection collab thing, liquid lipstick. I regret my choice. I missed the black. So what are we going to do about it? We're just going to leave it. I was thinking I would do an ombre look, but this is what we got. So this is our finished look for this clip. And let me know about the contour situation thing. And we have 2 more to do. Hang tight. This is Sugar Cookie Chapstick. So I'm going to put this on over top of Sugar Cookie Chapstick. I did a base face video before this one. I have on my, I'm already out of it. I have under my lower lash line already NYX Retractable Eyeliner, and this one is deep blue. And I did blend that out with this brush. Yesterday, I had an allergy attack. My eyes itching, my nose running, sneezing, all types of stuff. And so this eye is still tearing. And I did get shadow in my eye yesterday. And I don't know if that was what the culprit was, but it was just horrible. I mean, for like 3 hours, I was just sneezing, snot running, and just blowing my nose. I used like half a roll of toilet paper, blowing my nose. It was bad. It was just really bad. Kept using my eye drops. Anyway, let's just get into it. This is Mothership number 6. Yes, and this is Midnight Sun. This is a murky palette, so I don't think we'll have any issues, but we're still going to layer because I just want to see what's going to happen. I need to have on my lab coat because this is an experiment. So we're just going to do stuff and just see how it turns out. We're going to take Vermilion Venom, this shade here, and this is going to go, this is the Hourglass number 3 brush. This is going to go all over the lid. You see how that just showed up? And into the crease. And so we're going to do this on both eyes and come back also up into the transition, this area up here. And we are going to blend this out up here. So I will be back when we have both eyes done. Okay, so I didn't mean to do that or that. This side I like though, this side I don't, but it's going to get covered up. With the clean Hourglass number 3 brush, we're going to go into Wicked Envy, and we're going to put that on the lid and into the crease. And I did not tap off yet, but once I have it placed, then I will tap off. We're going to take Extreme Dusk, and this is the Scott Barnes number 63 brush, and we're going to coat both sides of the brush, and we're going to tap off and pointy side down. We're going to place that here, and pointy side down. We're going to place this here. So I'm going to finish this up, clean this up, well not clean it up, but just finish placing, and I am going out to the edge to here, and we are just pushing it upwards to blend it, and we're going to do the same thing here. So this is still off of when I initially swiped the brush in the shadow. So I'm going to apply more and then continue to feather in a little bit. We're going to feather this upward just to get an even line so it's not like this space right here. I did not dip back into the shadow yet. So this is what it's looking like we're having for this. I'm keeping this in so you can see my process when things don't go the way I want them to go. And thank you for being here because I know this video was hella long. And so I think we're actually done with this. I'm gonna go straight in with the brush, the rounded part, and put it down here, like near the lash line. And then the crease, which is right here. We're gonna take Skin Show Moon Glow, and every time I use this top corner shade, I'm just like, okay, now let me tone it down. But I am just insistent, I don't know why, to keep putting that shade here. We're gonna do the other side and then come back. We're going to take Bronze Eclipse, this shade here, and these are the Fenty 220 brushes, which you probably already know that by now because I use them in all of these videos. And that's going to go here. This eye is tearing still, I can feel it. We're going to take Blitz Violet Orchid, this shade here, Makeup Forever number 210 brush, and this is going to go on our lower lash line, and we are just stabbing the shadow, and we are going to tap off. This is one of her celestial shades. It's not a chunky monkey, but it still can be flaky. And I'm going to bring this up here. I like how that purple is bringing some brightness to the murkiness we got going on here. We're going to take Taboo, this shade here, and this is an Esum V33 brush, and we're going to just tap straight into it, and we're going to tap off, and we are going to put this over the brow bone shade just to tone that down a little bit. And also buffing out over here because this is looking kind of like, what? We're going to tap back in, tap off, and we're going to buff this under here. This eye is wet underneath from my eyes tearing. We've used 7 shades for this look, 2, 4, 6, and 7. I think it is a murky mess, and I am feeling it. We're going to take Fenty Fly Liner. The shade is Cause I'm Black on our upper lash line. Lancome Sills Booster Mascara Primer, upper and lower lashes, and we're going to use the Il Makiage Mascara, top and bottom lashes. We're going to do all of that and be right back. Wiping off some chapstick. Back to the black. My eyes are tearing horribly. You see this patch? We're going to fix that after we put this on. Is it just me that my eyes sometimes tear upward and not always downward? You see where it went upward and just into the crease? We're going to go back into the palette and take the lid shade Wicked Envy on a flat shader brush. This is the Esum V27, and we're just going to pat that, and we only need to pat it, but then it's making it look green because it's wet in that area. All right, so this does not always work because if it's wet, it will change what the shadow looks like. So we're only going to put it here just to see if we can get it to look the same, and it's not. So you know now, if you put the shadow on your brush and wet it, it'll look like this. So that's something that we learned. And this side is not going to look the same, but this is what we have. So we're just going to just bring it a little further over to kind of make it look like we did it on purpose for the pictures. I am feeling the look. Let me know if y'all think I'm nailing it with these smoking out, grunging out, swamp watering out Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. So if you were thinking you wanted to do looks like this and you're looking at the Motherships like, I'm not going to get that, you can get it. So that'll be it for this clip. You will see me in the next one, the last one. Oh, okay, last one. This is Cotton Candy Chapstick. I am still dealing with allergies, and it's so weird. I know it's spring. Today is March 20th. I believe today is officially the first day of spring. Here in Delaware, it's like 54 degrees, but it's a cold 54 degrees. And so I'm like, all the pollen, I'm like, don't you usually wait till it's warmer? So anyway, this eye is already tearing. We're just going to roll with it because that's what we do here. The troll train keeps on rolling. Mothership number 10. Midnight. Not even mid. Moonlit Seduction. Not grungy at all, not smoky at all, except maybe this shade. But we're going to do a lot of layering, and we're going to see what we can do. Base face is done. I did a different cheek situation today. I'm digging it. Lids are primed. We're just going to jump in, and it feels like something is in this eye, so I'm just kind of like, So we're first going to take Hourglass number 3 brush and go into Extreme Nocturne. And this is going to go all over the lid. I am talking so weird today. And up into the transition area. So I'm going to finish this. These shades be showing up. We're going to finish this in the other lid and then come back. We have the color laid, and so we're using the tip of the brush just to get our blend going up here. We're also doing some feathering. So we're placing the brush and kind of flicking it upward, and so you see how that's creating this blend right here. This is all still that same shade. We're going to take Rosewood Romantique on the first half of the lid as a topper, a clean Hourglass number 3 brush, and this shade is going here. I don't know, y'all, about this palette, but we're trying to get some smoke. And we're going to flip the brush over and go into Plum Cabaret. That's going to go on the second half of the lid. So we're really trying here with this palette to get it to be my vibe more so than not my vibe. And I know that can be blasphemous because people live for these celestial shades in this palette. And I remember when I did the swatches on my face, it was looking like this shade looked that way. And then when I turned and I caught myself when I was editing, I was like, oh snap, like these shades show up. So if you're about to shimmer, you will really love this palette. But because my vibe is swamp water, yeah, so I'm really questioning this palette. And for all the times that I've heard myself saying, you know, there's a time and a place, yada, 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 I realized I've said that a lot. And in one video, I said, I wonder if I keep saying that, trying to convince myself to keep it. Blasphemous, I know. Get rid of Mothership number 10, Moonlit Seduction. I'd rather someone have it and love the entire palette and that be their vibe versus me that's making a reason to keep it, such as there's a time and a place. You know what I mean? And I know I wouldn't get a lot of use out of it because it's not my vibe. And I am going back and forth between the side with Rosewood Romantique, which is that shade, and this shade, and Plum Cabaret on the other side of the brush, which is this side. And so I'm hoping that that's making sense because, you know, people get funny when you say something about Pat McGrath that isn't positive, and not that it's not positive, it's just not my vibe. And so it's just a preference thing. And some people do take it personal. I'm like, it's really not, it's just makeup. It's just a preference thing. So that's where I'm at with this. I'm going to take a sponge tip applicator. I forgot to mention I have NYX retractable eyeliner in gray on my lower waterline. I'm sorry, on my lower lash line already. I didn't blend it out or anything. This is where it's going to get interesting because we're using sponge tips here. So we're really going for it. We're going to take Blitz Venus, this shade down here. And this is going to go on the first half of the lid. This one is not super chunky, but still, I'm going to start this so you can see what it looks like, and then I'm going to finish the other eye and come back. I'm trying, y'all. I really am, because it is a beautiful palette. It really is. It is a beautiful palette. And I have accepted it is what it is. So I just need to be realistic about, am I really going to use it? And with the sponge tips, dealing with the chunky monkeys that are not the super chunky monkeys, like I'm okay with that. Like this one is not giving me any problems. You see how it's going on. I don't have any fallout. And I did my base face first, full face done, powdered down, sprayed it and everything. And so there is a way to do it. And so that is that shade. And I didn't mean to talk through the entire thing. We're going to switch to a completely clean side and go into VR Sextasy, this shade here. This one. So it turns that color and then it's that color. Gorgeous shade. This is the chunkiest monkey of them all. And we want to put that on the second half of the lid. And I am going to come back with this one because this is going to take me a while. Woo, because it is super chunky and I got to get the chunks on and then smooth it out. Because if you tap all the chunks off, it's not going to show up as a color on your lid. So I'm going to come back when this is done and the other eye is done. Yo, I just had a chunk just fall off the sponge tip onto my arm and then it rolled. And now it's like all over my shirt, the front of the shirt. This shade ain't no joke. It's gorgeous. But yeah, you can't play with this one. You just gotta take that flake. You see those flakes hanging? You just gotta take the flakes and press and swipe. That's how you work with the flaky shades. The super chunky monkeys. And it's gorgeous. Like, you see that? But you just gotta know how to work with them. And I did learn how to work with them. With the sponge tips. And I don't have any fallout. Hey. We're going to take Bronze Devotion for our brow arch. Yeah, so not that shimmery shimmery one this time. Oh gosh, I like this. You know what, this works. I'm going to bring it down and cover this top line. Yeah. This is it. So we're kind of getting a blend going with the flakies, the flaky shades. We're going to flip this over so I don't contaminate the initial lay down under the brow. And now that that's there, we're going to just lay it flat on the line and just feather over that line. So this is going to give us that murkiness too. We're going to take Skin Tense Glow, and I'm tempted not to do this. This is a clean brush because this eye is tearing, so I know it's just going to make it worse. We're going to take Platinum Dusk, this shade here, and that's going to go on our lower lash line. I'm going to bring this up here. This area is wet. So we've used 8 shades for this look, and I think we got the swamp water. I really do. We used 2, 4, 6, 8 shades for this, but that's a lot. And I know for sure, this is not the typical Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction look, which is exactly what I was going for, something different. I want to do something lower lash line. I want to buff out, but I'm not sure with what, because this is, I don't like those 4 lower lash line, and this might make it too dark. We're going to do it because we're going for dark. Just going to grab this brush. I'm going to tap into this shade again, which is Extreme Nocturne. And we're going to put that under here. Should have did the other eye first because this eye is wet. Oh, that looks nice. We're going to take Fenty Fly Liner. The shade is Because I'm Black. On our upper lash line, we're going to take Lancome Sills Booster Mascara Primer up and lower lashes. And we're going to take MAC Stack Mascara on up and lower lashes. And then we're going to come back. We're going to wipe off some chapstick. And we're going to put on Caviar Max Matte Retro Liquid Lip Color. And we'll be back. Listen. Yo. I got my vibe from Moonlit Seduction. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I didn't think I was going to be able to pull it off. And y'all know I'm in my glory with a black lip. I am so excited. This is tearing and it's like shadow is just coming off. I am hella excited for this video, for this palette. Because really, I was about to declutter this thing. But then I still need to think about, do I have other shades that I can just do this without having to layer the base shade, this one, and then top first half of the lid, then top second half of the lid, and then first half of the lid topper, second half of the lid topper. You see what I'm saying? So I did 6 shadows, 5, 6, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 shades on the lid. So I need to think about, do I just have shadows that look like that without having to do this? If I do stuff like this, this will give me variety other than just the typical looks that I've seen and the typical looks that I've done with this palette. I do have a video, I think it was all in one video, where I did 5 looks with it. And I was just like, I think the last one I had liked, but this is it right here. And so I really need to rethink now, because I was ready to give this one away seriously. But now knowing if I just put the work into it, and I have no fallout, from the Celestial shades from using the sponge tips. And so I'm excited about that as well. And so thank you for being here for this experiment, for bearing with me. Thank you for those who did want to see me try to grunge out the Pat McGrath Motherships, because I really felt like it was important just to show some variety other than the typical looks that we see people do with the Pat McGrath Motherships. And that if the typical looks with them is not your vibe, I wanted you to see if your vibe is similar to mine, that you can get your vibe from it. That may or may not be a selling point for you. Definitely when she has a sale. Because her stuff is expensive. But if you wanted to dip your toe into Pat McGrath, but you were thinking it's not my vibe, you know, now you see that you do have options. And so thank you for being here. Let me know your thoughts below. If you have a favorite, let me know that too. If you can't choose, let me know that too. And I'm just really hell excited that I was able to do this with Moonlit Seduction, because I didn't think I was going to be able to. And I'm really glad that it worked out this way. So thank you again. I know I keep saying that. I'm just really excited. This video is hella long, so I'm going to go. You will see me in the next video. As always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. You will see me soon.